Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1983 Detroit Tigers season replay. We are on to the National League West Division season preview. We've already completed the other three divisions. If you haven't seen them yet, you can take a look at the 1983 Detroit Tigers season replay playlist, which I've already begun. Those three videos are on there. Check them out. We cover all the teams and all the stadiums, and today we are at the National League West Division, and we are going to kick it off with the last place Atlanta Braves. You can take a look here and see how they performed in the 1982 sim season we just finished. Not great. They didn't even break 100 home runs, so not a lot of pop for the Atlanta team. Let's take a look at the lineup a little bit more in depth. They have some pretty decent players. Of course, Brett Butler, great stolen base guy in the era of the 80s. And looks like he only had 23 stolen bases in 1982, so not a ton there. Milt Thompson. Tracy Woodson had 25 home runs, among the league leaders in the National League. And you look at some of these names here, they do not impress you. I can see why they did not hit a ton of home runs. Rafael Ramirez at short. Bruce Benedict didn't hit any home runs as a catcher. They really missed Biff Pocoroba, who went over to the Sox and hit 27 home runs last year. He would definitely help this lineup out a little bit. Ken Phelps, one time hit 2 grand slams in a game against my Detroit Tigers. Yeah, he did have 11 home runs for the Braves after coming over from Seattle. You'll see here they have some, they have Jeffrey Leonard, who was on Detroit. It was nice to see him getting some regular PT, but it looks like they're going to swap out some of the regulars from last season for the opportunity for some other players to get a shot, like Milt Thompson and Rafael Ramirez. I mean, this team just looks kind of sad on paper. They have they have like 3 solid first basemen. Ken Smith, who really didn't play a lot in the majors. I think he went over to St. Louis and played in real life. Had, maybe one good year, I guess. But Gerald Perry looks like he is the first baseman of the future. I don't know why they just don't work him into the lineup right away. Let's take a look and see who they have in the minor leagues. At AAA level, they've got nobody. I mean, Albert Hall got some PT last year. Again, no home runs, 15 stolen bases, a lot of speed guys, as you might imagine. AA is absolutely terrible until you get down to Dutch Dalton at catcher. That's the catcher of the future. And with his rating, I mean, the future is now. They should have him in there over Bruce Benedict. Gerald Perry should be playing first. They have Juan Samuel in AA. Bobby Bowe, with an 80 rating, he should be your third baseman. Well, I guess with Tracy Woodson, who, again, hit 25 dongs, maybe Bobby Bowe's going to have to wait another year. Well, let's see. When is Tracy Woodson's contract up? Not until the end of next year. Oh, my God, he's only 19 years old. 20 years old in this season. Had 92 RBI. How is he not the rookie of the year? I guess, as you saw in the title card, Fernando Valenzuela was the rookie of the year. I guess it's kind of hard to argue against Fernando's big season. They got another great third baseman. They got Kelly Gruber. They got another third baseman. They got Brooke Jacoby. So they've got third base on lockdown. Let's take a look here. Doug Jennings had a little bit of had a couple good seasons for Oakland. But otherwise, Hector Villanueva. They have a lot of catchers in single A. They got 4 catchers in single A. So a lot of trades in the future for this team. I think I stated this during the season sometime, and I believe this to be true, but someone might contradict me here. I feel like you have to play 6 seasons of Baseball Mogul to work out all of this junk here. So through 6 seasons of this, terrible minor league players, you work them out, they retire, or they fall lower into the minor league system, and then you start getting all these new draft picks that work their way through the system. So we are in, season 4, right, starting in 1980. So we still have 2 more years before we clear some of the dreck out from the minor leagues. And, the Braves are a great example of that. They really have too many players that no longer serve any value. Let's take a look at the pitchers for the Bravos. These are not great starting pitchers, but you can at least say they ate up some innings. Larry McWilliams is their ace. Joe Cowley, I think, is still pretty young in this game. Let's take a look. 24 years old, really coming off his first full season. Great ratings and a good peak. So this guy could have some value. Wow. Fastball rated at 96 and tops out at 96. So either a great future starter for them or, maybe a trade piece. Silvio Martinez putting up good numbers, 17 and 15. If you were a starter, you lost 15 games no matter what. Tony Brizzolara, his career's long over by now. Tommy Boggs hanging on. They have a pretty solid bullpen. Steve Bedrosian, Bedrock they called him, Tippy Martinez, solid left-hander, Austin Macher, Alto Morano, Preston Hanna. There's some pretty good pitchers in there in the bullpen. Let's see who they have in the minors that could help them out. They do have Nate Snell, who is kind of a long reliever, not a starter. They have Phil Niekro, still throwing the knuckles up there. He was 2-7 last year with a 6 ERA. So he's basically done. Let's take a look at Double-A here. Now they have some pretty good stat guys in Double-A. Zane Smith, McMurtry, Ken Daly, Rick Bahena. Joe Johnson, who always does well in this simulation. I have no idea why, but I usually end up trading for Joe Johnson at some point, and he'll get you, 12 to 15 wins. Steve Shields, Ken Dixon, Jeff Dedman sucks. Let's take a look at Single A. Dennis Cook, Ed Nunez, good reliever, and a guy named Lottie Renfro. He's throwing the shillelagh at you. There's really not a lot in Single A, so they haven't drafted well in a couple of years, or they really are just trading for minor league pieces that have no value. So, the Braves, again, it's pretty easy to see them finishing in last place. I guess they have some pitchers coming up in the minor league, and they got Bobby Bowe, so that always makes you feel good. Let's take a look at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. If this is the first video you're watching, we take a look at the stadiums here to see what the park factors and the stadium effects might do to the players in the sim. And we're taking a look here at the left-handed batters. Home runs for lefties are average. Righties up 28%. That's interesting. So some of the righties here are going to be bashing. And you can say the same thing for just getting hits in general, both above 100. Right-handed batters, 12% more likely to get a hit. That's pretty good. Doubles, though, down 11%. Triples down 20%. Strikeouts, only 89 out of 100, so 11% less likely. Double plays are going to occur more often here. They are natural grass, and errors right around average. So, the offense could provide maybe a little bit more home runs than they had last year. Instead of having sub 100 dongs, maybe they can get over the 100 mark. You still got to factor them in as a last place team. They could improve on their 68 wins, but I don't see it by much. Let's go to the next team on the list. It's the San Francisco Giants. They finished with 72 victories. They are the only team to change their logo in the 1983 season. They went from the Giants that was kind of sort of on the incline there with the orange baseball. Not a very good logo. This one is something you could create and, on, I don't know, some sort of cheesy little program. Very simple looking, but it is an improvement. So we'll give them props. Okay, let's take a look at their lineup. Okay, they traded away their catcher because of Bob Brenly. I ended up converting Bob Brenly over from third base to catcher. They traded their main catcher to the Boston Red Sox, and then they don't even give the job to Bob Brenly. They give it to Phil Ouellette, who I think he's a career minor leaguer. Also, Dan Gladden, they had him at second base, so I moved him to his regular position in left. Jack Clark was at third base. We moved him to right. These are all their normal actual positions. So I think I really jacked this team up. Eric Davis is now out of his spot. Again, he's only like 20 years old. Yeah, he's 20 years old in this game. He hadn't even made his major league debut yet. But I think having a different center fielder, different outfield configuration kind of screwed them up a little bit. But they'll get back on track. They have some decent batters here. Former Tiger Mark Jajan is shortstop position. So not a lot of great players here at the in the bench. Chris Bourgeois was had 17 home runs for him last year. Now he can't get a job because Jack Clark is actually at his regular spot. Can he play somewhere else? No, really, maybe left field. That's it. So tough luck. Let's take a look at the minors here. Not a lot in AAA. Only 3 batters available at the AAA level. Everybody's in single A, it looks like. Double A, they got Brad Wellman, who, I don't know. I've always had good luck with Brad Wellman. I always like to put him on my team. He can play anywhere in the infield. Yeah, look at that. Awesome. That's a guy that can help you out. He could be our new Mark Wagner if I make a trade for him. Consider that. Always keep that in the back of my mind. Rob Deere, 3 true outcome guy. He's coming up soon, looks like. And, of course, we mentioned Eric Davis. I bet we'll see him before the end of the season. Chris Brown. Mike Aldretti. Oh, wow, he had 22 home runs. How did we steal him away? Oh, Dan Gladden. Sorry. Mike Aldretti had 22 home runs, so there's, 41 home runs in the minors between 2 guys that unfortunately got kicked out of their position. I mean, they still have time to develop. Mike Aldretti is only 21 years old, 22 this season. I said this, I think, in yesterday's video. I do feel bad about this. In the moment, I feel bad about it, but I think in a couple of seasons, it's going to sort itself out. And either these players will be traded for valuable pieces they can use now, either the ones in the majors or the one in the minors. Chili Davis, another player who was listed as a catcher, which he did catch in the minors, never played in the majors as a catcher. So I switched him to center field, which is, of course, is his major position his main position in the majors. Mike Huff, Luis Medina, I don't know who that is. One of the 2 Keith Millers. Darrell Hamilton, pretty good outfield. Oh, and Ozzie Guillen, who could be playing shortstop before too long, behind Mark DeJean there. Okay, so, this team, I kind of jacked them up a little bit, but they have a good future ahead of them. They have some schlubs in there, like Tom O'Malley. Tom O'Malley is the best defensive player of all time. Look at this. 99, 99, 99, 99, 99, 89. Hell, you could throw him in center field in a pinch. That is amazing. I think I conferred with Dave K, who follows this, and he's playing a different era. He's I think a few years ahead of us here, maybe in 89. And Tom O'Malley is also awesome defensively. So I can't wait to see what he does. at third base. Phil Hollett filling in, and Joe Strain is going to play second base. So let's take a look at the pitchers. We have Bob Nepper as their ace, getting 16 wins. John, the Count of Montefusco, went 12-17. Mark Dempsey, I don't even know who that is. Ed Whitson, 9-12. Bill Bordley, rounding out the rotation. They have a lefty as their closer, Al Howland. I mean, he did do that in real life, so I'm not a big fan of lefty closers. Terry Cornnut, a tasty snack, and also the setup man. Greg Minton, wow, his career is toast. Cornell, Randy Moffett, Tufts, Bob Tufts. Taking a look at AAA here, a bunch of 70s. They have Frank Williams. He is rated an 81. He probably gets a PT. Let's take a look at the AA. Oh, they got Jeff Russell, great closer for the Reds. Alan Folks, Kelly Downs. He had a moment in the majors where he was pretty decent. Scott Gereltz, Tom McCarthy, Don Carmen. All of those guys, you know, had a one or two good seasons in the sun. Jeff Robinson. This is not the Tigers' Jeff Robinson, is it? No, this is the other Jeff Robinson. There were two Jeff Robinsons in this era. They got Goobs, Mark Gubixa. I mean, not a great looking rating there. Kenny Rogers, the gambler. A lefty who could possibly get some PT. Oh, that's who they're missing. They're missing Vita Blue, who went 11-18 last year. Of course, he got injured in spring training, which is why he has the 87 games or 87 days. But at the end of the season, he was suspended for a year because of La Coquina. So maybe the game is somehow compensating for that loss. Not the worst pitching staff. They get, when do they get him back? In June, they'll get Vita Blue back, so that might be helpful. Let's take a look at Candlestick Park. Is the wind blowing in? Is it swirling in Candlestick Park? Wow, yeah, lefties are going to hit some bombs. 35% more likely. Righties are going to do well, too. 11% more likely to home runs. Left-handed batters, not so great. Right-handed batters are average. Not going to hit some doubles. Definitely not going to hit a lot of triples. Strikeouts are pretty much average. Double plays will not occur as much. But errors will. Errors are 23% more likely to get errors. So Tom O'Malley will definitely help him out defensively, you would think. And overall, the stadium plays just about average. So it'll be curious to see if they can make up some home runs with some of those scrubs that are making it into the lineup. Or are they going to bring up Eric Davis, who's going to hit some bombs? I guess we'll find out. They had 128 home runs last year, and their ERA was sub-4. They just could not hit. 226 batting average overall. So Giants, I think they're going to, I mean, they won 72 games. Could they win 81? I think they could. I guess it all depends on when how well Vita Blue pitches when he gets back. We're going to move on to the next team, which is the Fathers, the San Diego Fathers. The Padres, they won 79 games last year, and they have my favorite hitter of all time, Tony Gwynn. 19 homers, 18 RBI, batted .321. Gene Richards, they re-signed Gene Richards to a huge contract, almost $1 million a year, which is a lot in this era, of course. And he had a great season last year. He just puts up all kinds of stolen bases. He's batted over 300 in 2 of our 3 seasons. And even in the year that, I guess our strike short year that we played, he still had a 350 on base percentage, even though he's sub 700 OPS. So that is exactly the kind of leadoff hitter you want. Mar Foley, who came over from the White Sox, had a decent year. Andy Van Slyke, a young up-and-coming player. He's 22 this year. He's going to play every day in center field. 5-tool guy. We love Andy Van Slyke. And look at that, folks. Marky Wags, free agent signing. We let him go. And he's going to be in the starting lineup on opening day at shortstop. We love Marky Wags. He had a really good year filling in for Trammell when Tram got injured. Had a 720, a career year. I mean, let's face it, it was a career year for him. OPS over 700. You can't ask for much more than that. So good job by Marky Wags. We wish him well. Let's take a look at the bench. They got Kevin McReynolds and then a bunch of schlubs. I mean, Jerry Davis, I can barely remember who that is. He had 10 home runs. Tom Grant. Sorry, Tom Grant. You are out of a job. He had 22 home runs. So I must have changed these guys too. Where did Gene Richards play last year if he didn't play? Oh, he was in center. Okay, let's figure this out. We know Gwynn was in right. Center field is now, we switched him to left. So Andy Van Slyke is the better option in center. And then down here we have Rex Hudler. So he's a second baseman. What did he? Oh, he played shortstop on this team last year. And now shortstop is Mark Wagner. So, wow, Hudler is beaten out by Mark Wagner. I don't think that's going to last long, right? Well, what did we change Hudler to? So second base. So he's out of a job until he gets second base. So I guess maybe Wagner is safe. Wow. I mean, this is kind of fun. I know it might be annoying to some of you out there. I'm actually really curious to see how it plays out. Will some of these players reclaim their roster spots? And actually, I have some proof when we get to the Dodgers that this might actually work out. Anyway, let's take a look at the minor league options. We like Rex Hudler. Terrible announcer for the Royals. But he had 15 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 60 runs RBI. So that's pretty good. We got Kruk coming up. Wow, Broderick Perkins, I forgot about him. He batted .339 last year, every day at first base. I mean, not a lot of home runs, but good batting average, great batting average. We got former MVP Terry Pendleton. We got Bo Jackson coming. Come on. We have Doug Quotes. Nickname was iChart. You got to love that nickname. Dave Magadan. We love Dave Magadan. Sean Dunston, he's a couple years away probably. And Tony Gwynn's brother, Chris Gwynn. All right. So, I mean, this team could, if they sort of straighten out what's happening with my manipulations to their roster, this could be a really serious team. Maybe not this year, but next year for sure. I guess it's going to depend on the pitching staff. Let's take a look at the pitchers. Not great. Yeah, this is not good. Juan Eichelberger, in real life, actually pretty solid pitcher. Kind of lost it a little early in his career. John DeQuisto, Eric Shao, Ed Wajna, Dennis Blair. Dennis Blair was out of baseball by now, right? Yeah, I mean, there's a AAA baseball card there. That is not a good sign. Their closer is someone named Marty Decker with a 77 rating. Again, minor league baseball card. That is not a good sign. He did get into 70 games last year. Had 12 saves. And they have all lefties in their bullpen for the most part. They got Gary Lucas, who was a good reliever. These guys out of baseball. Well, I think Dennis Kinney was still around. Yeah. No, he was gone. But Dave Dravecky, up-and-comer. What's his endurance? Yeah, he would be a 6-starter if they were desperate. Minor league players. Steve Mura, holy cow, look how good this guy was. Rated a 79, a sub-3 ERA, pitching 186 innings pitched. Better rated than Dennis Blair. And I think there's a Blair pitch project somewhere in there. Make up your own jokes. Steve Mura probably should be in there. Let's take a look at Double A. There's some good pitchers potentially here. Gene Walter, Bob Patterson, Greg Booker, Andy Hawkins and Dennis Rasmussen, part of the World Series team in '84. Mark Knudsen, Mark Thurman. He was part of the '84 team, a big part of it, but now with that rating, he's not going anywhere. Ray Hayward, why do I know that name? I can't tell you. But he did get 6 starts last year and has some good ratings. Maybe he gets a few more starts this year. They've got Ed Vosberg, Bruce Ruffin, Jim Morris, the guy they made the Disney movie of, is in their single A team. So, and a guy with 2 M's in a row to start off his name, Mamat. They actually do have some pretty decent players here at the Double A level and down. I don't know if it's going to be enough to help them this year. This is definitely something that's got to be sorted out. You really can't have 4 lefties in your bullpen. But they seem to have done pretty well. Everyone's ERA was under 4 that's a lefty. So you got to give them credit for that. Steve Mura's got to be in that lineup somewhere. Okay, so that's going to do it for the Padres. We're going to take a look at the ballpark. What was their ballpark called? Jack Murphy. The Murph. That's right. Opened in 1967. Okay, the Murph. Left-handed batters hit home runs right at the average, right-handed batters for home runs was 24% above. Lefties average, righties average for hits, pretty close. Doubles and triples are down. Strikeouts, not as likely. Double plays up a couple points, and errors, not as likely. They don't have Ozzie Smith. These numbers probably include Ozzie Smith playing shortstop for them. So, they don't... I don't know. I feel like they're actually a pretty dang solid team. 258 batting average last year and an ERA around 350. That's not a bad combination for a National League team. Both better than average, the league average. So they should be a team that could break 500. Let's go to a team that was right at 500, the Houston Astros. This team, wow, wait till you see what the Astrodome numbers are. I don't even have to tell you. You can just look. Mike Schmidt had 15 home runs in the Astrodome in 1982, and he didn't even lead the team. This is a tough place to hit a dong. Everybody's numbered 80 in the lineup. This is a very consistent team. You got to give them that much. It's like they went ahead and just chose their lineup in descending order of ratings. But you can't argue. Now, you do have Cesar Cedeno, who at this point of his career was playing first base, I think. Denny Walling had a good year. Now he's on the bench. Hey, there's Gary Gaetti. Not the best ratings of all time, but how's he going to play if you have Mike Schmidt and Denny Walling on the bench? These guys are going to have to sort it out. Bill Duran didn't play at all last year in the majors. He could be their shortstop sometime soon. Steve Macko, of course, in real life was dead by now. He had leukemia. He died right after this 1981 season. So, I'm not sure being dead has any effect on their stats. So he may be around for a little while. Actually, he's as a second baseman here, but he is playing shortstop, where he's more highly rated. So Bill Doran might or might not make it, catching the Alan Ashby. Let's take a look at the minor league system. They have Danny Heap, actually highly rated at AAA, and then a bunch of schlubs. Double A, wow, Gary Matthews, remember when he got traded? When Cleveland traded him to Houston in the middle of the pennant race. You may remember Houston won the World Series in 1980 in our sim. They won our very first World Series that we played. And then I remember Cleveland traded Houston during the stretch drive and couldn't help them get to the playoffs. Double-A otherwise, Herman Rivera. I mean, not great. This is not great. Scotty Earl we traded over there for Dave Smith. Hey, there's Billy Bean. Probably accurately rated. Damon Berry. Oh, Paul O'Neill. Come on, Paul O'Neill. Right field is Terry Poole. Batted .329 last year. That's awesome. That's like a miracle in that stadium. Good job by him. So Paul O'Neill and Damon Berry will have a couple years before they're really going to produce. Jeff Manto, third baseman, Billy Joe Robideau. I mean, they do have some decently rated people in single A. Where will they be rated when they get to the majors, though? I mean, and I guess they do steal quite a bit. So maybe their stolen bases offset the fact that they can't really hit any home runs. Let's take a look. I wish we could find out how many home runs Mike Schmidt hit on the road. We can get splits versus lefties and righties. One home run versus lefties. I would be curious to see how many he had on the road. Maybe all 15 of them came on the road. Let's take a look at the pitchers for the Astros. This is a great staff that's kind of just holding on. I mean, J.R. Richard was out of baseball. By 1983, he had that stroke, and he was basically done. Joaquin Andahar, he was still going strong. Nolan Ryan, of course, was great, but look at his rating. He's 79 at age 35? Yeah, 36 now. So, and he's making a ton of money for one more year. And he did win 18 games, but at that rating, how much longer is he going to be productive? I mean, he pitched until he was 45, right? Or 46. So he's got 10 more years of baseball if you look at his real-life totals. And yet he might be done after this year rating-wise. Take a look at the bullpen. Joe Sambito, another lefty closer. I don't get it. We traded over there Mike Henneman. And we might, I said at the time we might regret it because his peak was like 90-something. Now it's coming, yeah, he was like 96 right there approximately when we traded him. So their minor league system is doing him no good at all. He did, however, make it to the majors at the end of the season, and he might be a closer before too long. Gene Nelson had a great career as a reliever, and a couple guys you might not even recognize the name. I wonder if Mike Madden is the brother to our Morris Madden. Could be. I don't know the answer to that. Let's take a look at wow, they have nobody in the minor leagues here. Their roster is maybe only bigger than Baltimore's. They have Larry Pashnick from the Tigers. We traded him over there a couple years ago. I can't remember who we got for these guys anymore. Maybe you remember. But they have Pashnick at AAA. AA, they got a couple guys. We got a couple guys. Single A, I mean, they have nobody here. Is that my Jim Lewis? That's my Jim Lewis from Jackson, Michigan. We used to work together at a book shipping company. Of all things, in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay, so yeah, there's not a lot of hope in this. I mean, what they need to do is they probably, if they get out of the race, they need to trade Nolan Ryan or J.R. Richard or one of these guys and get some up and coming pitchers. Let's take a look at how horrible the Astrodome is. Still stands in Houston. I used to work right across the street from it. Oops. Yeah, okay, here we go. Artificial turf. They actually tried to grow grass in there. The first year it was open. That was insane. Oh, my. Look at this. 42 and 48. Nobody's hitting home runs in there. At least hitters are only slightly below average. Doubles below average, 14%. Triples are going to happen more often than any other extra base hit in theory. Strikeouts are average. Double plays less likely with that artificial turf, and errors are going to happen a little bit more often. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I believe, if I remember right, there were only 47 total home runs in the Astrodome in 1983. So, I mean, again, why don't they just trade Mike Schmidt and give a youngster a start and, maybe get some more speed in there? We're going to move on from the Astrodome, and we're going to go to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And this gives me a chance to show you something here. This team had the lowest amount of home runs in the National League, and that's saying something, right? They had 70 home runs last year. And Sixto Lizcano, who was traded over from Milwaukee, I think he was a free agent now that I think about it, had the most home runs. Pedro Guerrero, still kind of a young guy coming into his own. But this is what I wanted to show you. Keith Moreland, catcher, right? I actually did change him to his normal position. He did catch in the majors early on in his career. I changed him to a right fielder, which was his actual position for the most games in the majors, and the game changed him back to catcher. So the game does control, to some degree, the main positions for players. I don't know if you know that or not. So, a middle infielder, may bounce back from second base to shortstop from year to year, depending upon the necessity and the ratings. Keith Moreland was changed back by the game, not by me. So I guess we're going to keep him a catcher instead of changing him out. Now, I don't know who Wayne Coy or Coffey, or I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I don't know who that guy is. He's the third baseman. Bobby Mitchell out there in center field. It's not, Orlando Gonzalez, no longer the first baseman. Oh, I did change Pedro Guerrero from third to first. He did play third when he came up, but first base he played by and large every game he ever started. So that's how Wayne Coy or Coffey got in there. So Orlando Gonzalez, who batted .328, is out of his spot. Wow, he had 90 RBI, and he walks a ton. I remember that in this game. So maybe a trade piece there. Their bench in general pretty good. They got Rudy Law, who has a ton of speed. He had 29 stolen bases. Everybody in this team steals. Let's take a look at the minor league system here. They got Mike Scioscia coming up. Steve Sachs, this guy should be playing every day. They got Jack Bercanti in there, who's an all-star in this game. Let's take a look at Jack Bercanti. 3 years, all of them, since we started the sim. And he's improved every year. I mean, over 800 OPS. How are you going to take him out for Steve Sachs? Just not going to happen. The Penguin, Ron Say. They have Mike Marshall, the first baseman. They have him listed as outfielder here. Kenny Landreau. Still nicely rated there. They got a bunch of schlubs at AA. There's Stu Peterson. That's Jock Peterson's dad. Dave Anderson. Oh, they have Darryl Strawberry. Has he made it to the majors yet? Yeah, in 1980. He got a extended look, 30 games. So he's could make, I guess he's not going to beat out Lemmy Miller just yet, but he could. Now they got Devo, Devin White, Candy Maldonado, Sid Bream. Look at these guys. They got some good names here. They got Vince Coleman, Orestes Estrada, Ken Caminiti. Come on, Raffy. They got Palmeiro. Wait, Now, does Palmeiro have a 57 power like Barry Bonds did? Let's take a look. 64. So I wonder if Clay's watching this, the CEO and creator of Baseball Mogul and the Sports Mogul franchise. Did you do this on purpose? Like, I'm just curious. I'm wondering if he's adjusting for the steroids era. The players that were maybe proven to be taking steroids. Are we digging them for those? I'm curious. I'm not against it. I have no problem with it. I'm just, I just want to know, like, why? And, is that the solution? And then Petey Gavilia never played a game in the minor leagues, went right to the majors, and here he's been in the minors. So, okay. I mean, this is a team, if you just kind of, I don't know, use some whiteout or something on some of these names and insert some of these minor leaguers, the Dodgers are going to bounce back pretty quick here. I mean, they won 90 games. They're not bouncing back from a losing season. I just mean, maybe from my adjustments from the roster lineup positions, maybe they're going to have to find a way to overcome that, and maybe they won't win 90 games this season. Here's a big strength of the team, and that is their starting pitching. Bob Welch won 21 games last year, and of course we know Fernando Valenzuela was the Rookie of the Year. I have no idea who Jerry Hannes is, but he won 18 games last year. Like a career September call-up, and in this game, he's a stud. I kind of, this is one of the things I do like about this game. When these career minor leaguers get a shot, I can't explain why he's got an 85 rating exactly, but I don't mind as long as it seems fair, I guess. Then we have Mike Ramsey, who spent his whole major league career batting. That is him right there, but he was a pitcher in the minor league, so I think I guess this would depend upon when you start your simulation. We started in 1980 when he was a pitcher in the minors. So that's why. I mean, you see, we started in 1980. So in 79, he was in lower A ball as a pitcher, and that's why the game thinks he's a pitcher. I can't argue with that. If I would have started in the 1981 season, then maybe he would have been a hitter. So I don't know. But in this game, what are you going to do? He's the number 4 starter. We got Rick Sutcliffe as your number 5 starter, 7-15. Looks like they got a couple pitchers who shared the closing duties. Steve Howe, suspended for parts of this season for drug and alcohol abuse, went to rehab, and then he was suspended at the end of the year for a year. Terry Forster's pretty damn good pitcher. Ted Power's good. They got Dave Stewart in AAA, rated highly. Maybe could jump over Rick Sutcliffe, which would be weird, but it could happen. Ricky Wright, pretty good ratings. Steve, Don't Call Me Shirley. Don Stanhouse. Bert Hooton. And Double-A. I know they got some good pitchers here. I mean, Tim Belcher had a great career. Mike Hartley, I guess. Ken Howell, I remember him pitching well. Jamie Moyer pitched until he was 50 or something. The guy pitched forever. You throw left hands, you're going to be all right for a while. Tim Cruz, Calvin Schiraldi, Mark Grant, John Burkett, good pitcher. And they've got Oral, who's injured. So, he's going to miss the first 3 weeks of the season. Then will he make it into the rotation? You'd think he'd have to. Now, he did get one start last year. And, he should be a starter. His endurance is not great, but I guess he deserves the opportunity. And Don Sutton, who pitched until he was 40, at this point, his career is done. So this is a pretty damn solid team. They need to overcome by roster manipulations, and if they can do that, they could win the division, but they're gonna have to get past Cincinnati. But before we get to Cincinnati, let's take a look at Dodger Stadium. What are the park effects here? Home runs by lefties and righties, up over average, 4% up for lefties, 6% above average for righties. Lefty is not getting the hits, though. Righties, 15% above. So I wonder if that, the roster construction by the computer AI, does it consider that right-handers are going to be more likely to get hits, so maybe they stack the lineup with righties. Doubles, wow. Not a lot of doubles. Not a lot of triples. Strikeouts up 3%. Double plays not as often here, but errors up 21%. So you're going to see some errors here at Dodger Stadium. As long as you don't drop the Dodger dogs. Let's take a look at Cincinnati. World Series champion Cincinnati Reds. They won 106 games. The most deserving team. Now, and this team, if you think, okay, well, this is a fluke, they finished second, and first in the 3 years. So this is a good team. Again, I hate to keep being repetitive, but I kind of sandbagged him here because they had Gary Redus as the second baseman, which he was not. His main position in the majors was left field. So I moved them to left, but they've already got Dwayne Walker out there, who's better. And Ron Esther will get the starting second base job, who I believe was a shortstop, which is okay because they did trade for Joe Patini last year, who got injured. And now he can get back to his normal position. And then they made a free agent signing of Jim Dwyer, who was on Montreal. Yeah, he was on Montreal last year. He had 15 home runs. Not a bad pickup. So he's going to play first. And that means Dan Dreesen is out of luck, even though they're rated the same. And Dan Dreesen won a Gold Glove at first base for the National League and helped them win the World Series. So that doesn't look too good. You had the great Johnny Bench on the bench. Bench. Bud Bowling. Hey, why not carry 3 catchers? I mean, you got how long until Johnny Bench's contract is up? Let's go. He's got 1 more year till free agency. And he's only 35. Come on. Him and Carlton Fisk have totally got screwed over in this game. So, a pretty solid lineup here. Home run. I mean, Kim Allen just fell short of 100 stolen bases. That would have been really something. I've never seen the computer AI manufacture 100 stolen bases by anyone. And I still haven't, technically. Let's take a look at the minor leaguers. AAA, you got Skeeter. You got George Foster. Skeeter Barnes, look at that. 346 with 8 home runs. Dan Dreesen had a solid year, despite getting older. And it kind of makes sense he's not in the majors. I get it. AA, Ray Knight. Come on. Nick Osaski. Won't be long. He might be up. All these scrubs. I mean, we definitely got to sort them out, man. 2 more years, I think we'll have that, have those guys gone. Dan Biladello. First ball player I ever seen hit a home run. In person at an actual live game. Wally Joyner, looking good. Jeff Treadway, Scott Lusader from the Tigers, and that's pretty much about it. There's Kenny Williams. They don't have a lot of minor league help. A lot of major league names here, but not a lot of guys that you would want in your lineup. So, being a small market team, if they fall out of it, they're probably going to sell off their players. But, would I say that they have a chance to win the World Series again? I don't think so. I think the Dodgers are probably the better team. And the Astros have a better pitching staff, I think. Let's take a look at the pitchers. So, yeah, this team looks good here. This is their strength. Look at this. Bruce Berenier, 120 games with a 2.32 ERA. Mario Soto, 16 wins, 2.35. Charlie Liebrandt, the lefty, 21-5 at 2.61 ERA. Tom Browning, I think he's still pretty young. Yeah, first year making 20 starts. He went 9-8, so another year of Tom Browning will be good. And Kip Young, they got from Detroit. I thought I was throwing away some of these guys, and he gets 13 wins for the Reds. He would have been second on our team in wins if we still had him. This is interesting. Bill Landrum is now going to be their closer. Look at that ERA. Jay Howell had the job for a majority of the previous year. Jeff Combe, Joe Price, Bill Shearer, and Frank Pastore, all under 2. Wow. I mean, if they repeat that, that is going to be hard to beat. In the minors, they got Tom Terrific. He did get some PT, but his career is toast. Mike Lacoste. Former Tiger Sheldon Burnside. Larry Rothschild. Freddie Tolliver. I mean, so there's another one of the nasty boys, Brad Leslie. Rob Murphy, another nasty boy. John Franco. I don't remember when he went to the Mets, but I mean, these are some big names here. Oh, and the Randy Johnson, not the Atlanta Braves third baseman Randy Johnson. The Randy Johnson, the big unit. He made 3 starts at age 18 for Cincinnati. Why not bring him up during the stretch? They had that Division I in like August. And he did a pretty good job. So, yeah, this is the guy of the future. He's only rated a maximum 91. Nearly 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming from the left side. He did walk 107 batters in single A. That's going to play, though, I think, in the majors, right? In this game. The pitchers always seem to make it to the majors before the hitters do, by and large, I think. And I don't know. We might see if they could get Randy Johnson up there, and I don't know who they would sit. I guess Kip Young. Then they might have another run at it. I mean, Jeff Facero, closer for Montreal. One of the many Greg Harrises. David West, Bobby Witt. Come on, this team is stacked, and like I said, they finished second. And they won the World Series. So they're going to have the last pick of the draft, but they're used to drafting low. So I don't know. Man, they've done a good job, though, haven't they? I don't know how they got Randy Johnson. Was that in a trade? No. First round pick in 1981. 14th pick overall. Oh, man, I don't know how that happened. I don't know. Okay. Well, that is the Reds. Let's take a look at Riverfront Stadium here, and then we'll wrap it up. Here we go. So here's Riverfront, another one of those cookie-cutter stadiums from the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Left-handers, home runs, 4% above average. Righties, 4% below average. Hits by lefties and righties, both below average. Doubles are up 17%. Triples are up 5%. Strikeouts will happen 6% more often. Double plays are a lot less likely here, and errors are less likely. Artificial turf. That'll do it. Overall park factor rated 103. So, yeah, I mean, the Reds, I don't know. I have no reason to believe they won't win the World Series once again. I mean, they didn't have a ton of home runs, but they had a sub-3 ERA. And pitching kills, man. They got a lot of speed, 258 stolen bases. You'd think that would be, by and large, the best, but actually Philadelphia was pretty close. So that's going to conclude the Brainiac Baseball preview for 1983. We are slated to start the season on April 1st. That is my goal. I'm ready to go now, but we'll wait till April 1st. If you get in need of entertainment, you can go ahead and go to my channel. Check out the playlist. There's all kinds of sports cards, box and pack openings, which are fun. You can even look at my most popular videos. They have like the top 12 most popular videos based on views. So you can watch some of the more viewed videos, I suppose. Or all the playlists are there. You can go back to 1980, 81, or 82 and check out any of those baseball playlists and watch some of those games just for the fun of it. Maybe I'm drunk. Maybe I'm swearing. Who knows? It's always a guess how I'm going to behave when we watch these games. But that's going to do it. I'm looking forward to next season. I hope all of you stick around for the 1983 Detroit Tigers season replay, again, starting April 1st. Until then, everyone, have a good night.